Okay, I'm back. What is my worker doing? Going home. And yeah, is this what we call manual labour? Well, I mean, effectively all of the farm sim stuff is manual. It's just that some things are more manual than others. When you can harvest a field of wheat with a 45-foot header, things tend to be a lot easier, or take less time, should I say. I mean, if we were harvesting wheat off this field, yeah, it would have been done an hour ago. And that includes all the carting. Obviously, you know, collecting the straw takes a bit of time, as we've discovered. But for the most part, that really doesn't take much time to do. I thought it started missing rows, but obviously I am mistaken. And then go round. My opinion is the more work, the more time you have to put into working a field, the more valuable the crop is per acre. So as I was saying, you know, this field would probably yield about 100,000 litres of wheat or triticale or whatever, and that 100,000 litres would, at best price, probably net us £50,000 of income. This field will probably yield us round about 500,000 litres of sugar beets, and thus be worth, I think, about 150,000, 200,000. But it's going to take me a long time to harvest this field completely because of the quantity of crop that comes out of it. Thus I'm going to be carting far more frequently, and my harvest is going to stop far more frequently, but also because of the limited width of the harvesting equipment, which isn't so much of a problem with the likes of wheat and what have you. I'm going to get that there because I missed it earlier. And the same is true with sugar cane, potatoes, and to a certain extent cotton as well. They're high value because you have to put so much time into the harvesting stage. Yeah, and the opposite is true with soybeans and canola. They yield a lot, so you fill up your harvester slower, and while their value is much higher per litre, there is a percentage. What am I trying to say? Okay, so I think at the moment soybeans are worth about £1,000 per litre, and cereals are worth 500. But you will not harvest twice as much soybeans as you harvest wheat. You'll harvest not twice as much, half as much. It will be less. You will harvest 45% soybeans when compared with the amount of wheat you would harvest off a given field. So the upshot is it's easier to work soybeans. It's easier to work sunflowers and canola because you don't have to drive the tractor with the grain in a tipper on the back of it quite so frequently as you do with the wheat and the barley and the oats. So the per acre value of that crop is quite significantly less. So where I was saying I would get 50,000 pounds of wheat from this field, I would probably only get 45,000 pounds of soybeans from this field, or canola or something like that. Because they're, quotes, easier crops than the cereals are. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, you could blast through a farm and just planting soybeans every year, and just, plant soybeans, harvest soybeans, plant soybeans, harvest soybeans, and you could skip whole tracts of time or not play with seasons and make money very quickly, because you don't have to spend quite so much time harvesting and transporting the soybeans to market. Whereas with wheat, it takes you a little bit longer. You play how you want to play, I think, is the end of the day. What I tend to do, that one, is try and look at what, I look at where the map is supposedly based, and then I'll find out what's predominantly grown in that location. So I'm not growing soybeans, I'm not growing corn, because they're not typical crops that would be grown in this part of the country that this map is based on. Well, not significantly. There may be some corn, but it's percentage-wise, it's an insignificant crop. There's probably more wheat than barley. You go to Scotland, there's more barley than wheat because, well, whiskey. But, that's my choice of how I play. So, but still, I try and cycle things. So, I have 10 fields. They're not all planted with wheat. I tend to cycle the fields. This year they've got wheat. Next year this year they've got cereal. Next year they've got oilseed. And then when it comes to the sugar beets and the potatoes, what I'm then looking at is which field am I going to plant that crop in, and that's the field that's going to have, and the other fields will cycle. So as I said, this field's probably going to end up planted with cereals, along with the 2 sunflower fields. But maybe one of the sunflower fields I'll plant with soybeans. Not soybeans, sugar beets. It's really a random choice. Maybe I'll buy some new fields and plant one of the new fields with sugar beets. I'm still not sure if I'm going to keep field 3 as a grass field either. It's currently a grass field, but I could turn it arable. I just happen to like the fact that grass field yields 3 times in a year, and all I'm doing with those fields is creating silage, feeding it to the BGA so that I've got digestate for fall, and it's a small amount of income in the middle of the year, which if it was an arable field wouldn't be a thing. Now the other option, of course, is I could turn field 3 arable and buy one of the fields closer to the BGA, because since all we're doing is cutting the grass, wrapping it, and then selling it at the BGA, if I'm right next to the BGA making the silage bales, there's less distance to ship it. It's not too much hassle driving the grass cutting equipment out there, because we still need the grass cutting equipment for the clover, which is closer to the farm. So still one of our fields, clover's here. But that I'm really looking at, where is it most efficient to ship to? Buying fields for arable work close to the shop isn't necessarily helpful, because I'm always bringing the arable crops back to the farm to store until best crop price. And so we have crops sitting on the farm for extended periods while we wait for the price to get good. I think we're getting around the field a little bit faster. Again, don't know how far we got. The only way I'd know that is if it was a contract. Well, I wouldn't, because topping and harvesting don't think topping's counted in contract completion percentage. Of course, I think we're far enough along. I could go and get the harvester and set that off on a worker, but kind of thinking that would just slow this down. But it wouldn't catch us up. That much is certain now. Anyway, calm, peaceful, driving round and round in circles. Maybe I will. Okay. As soon as I've completed this loop, we'll go grab the case. I think the case is going to be good enough. I think the case is loaded with a weight on the front, so that's probably sufficient. We'll grab the JCB and the cart, the main cart. I mean, the good thing is the grain cart's quite big. I might even grab the semi-truck as well, because that kind of helped with those big field what was it? The summer crops harvesting. Okay, I'm just going to stop there. Let's I could actually let's just let that off on the worker. Okay, case. Well, that's a JCB fast track. That's good enough. And if we're pulling, I did put the gravel trailer here, yes I did. If we're pulling sugar beets off that field early, we may have to divert the grain carts over to our sunflower fields once we start that. But at least we'll be started with the job. I guess since we're going from the field at the bottom, run this round here. And that brake is on, I can turn that off. I think I stepped through the man truck. I think we messed that up. There we go. Okay, let's go get the harvester. Fast track. I think the fast track is adequate enough to haul this, but it's probably better suited on the grain trucks. It goes faster. So that's what we're hauling. 185 horsepower. I think the JCB 235. Yeah. So. Certainly adequate, but because this is the faster vehicle, it's better suited for hauling stuff back to the yard. And since they're faster, I'm going to put this at the front of the convoy. You can park there. Let's go find the truck. Yay, yay, yay. That's the truck. Turn it on. The skip. And let's go get the semi-trailer. That's good. At least we don't have any baling or haze bales to collect from this one. Okay, you can follow him. I have tried. I may do something for Farm Sim 22 when that comes out. Use more base game, base game setup and see where that goes. And everybody's rolling. Oh, traffic. That's the only traffic though, so we're good. I'm gonna wait for the car because we'll probably end up with an accident if I go and then the workers try to follow. Okay, there we go. Bob Rob's made it, and Alan's made it, and we're heading north. We're heading north now, we're heading east. And this part of the field is bugged, I think. It's kind of hopeful because that Horseseed radish is still registered as planted. Okay. I think we can go from here. So, jump out. And you off. Engine off. And going back here. And F. And engine off. You think you're blocked. You're not blocked. You're just stopped there. Alrighty, let's start this thing up. Okay. Oh, okay. That's all ready to go. Help her go. Alright, so that's started. Jump out there. Oh, now this is where we can compare stuff. This is nitrogen 120. This is nitrogen 60. So we've lost half the nitrogen in that growth. But sugar beets are not a high, once again, not a high yielding crop when it comes to nitrogen. We'll park this up the side here. I think we'll leave the JCB on the corner. I'm hoping we can make the cut through. Although, because the field's now topped, I can actually drive on it. It nearly has a full grain tank. You're not even halfway up the field, dude. Okay then. Oh, hello. Yeah, this is not good. Well, at least I'm running down this bit. We're going to have to, well, it'll go all the way to the top. We're going to have to watch to see which way it turns, because if it turns to the left, probably going to have to intervene. So what's the load on that? 6,000. So it's not very big. We'll get 5 loads into this trailer out of that. And then 6 is into 48, 6 8's to 48. So 8 loads into the semi. It's just going to empty very quickly. Where's our topper gone? All the way down there. Huh. So as I said, let's jump over to the case and see which way it turns. Dude, you're not supposed to drive through hedges. Okay, I think he's making a teardrop to the right. That's good. So I need to get back to the JCB and move out of the way. Telephone pole. And he's already nearly full. There's another row there before that block of sugar beets is in the way. Oh, wrong side. Too used to the grain harvesters. Okay, what's the G35 do? There he is. Oh, he's nearly done down here. That's good. And worker done. Importantly, we need to clear this bit out so that the harvester's unimpeded for the rest of the field in the direction it's going. So worker on, off you go. So clearing that out, there may be a little bit over there, and then we've just got the block to the left of us. Crop's still wet. How's the harvester doing? 3,700. So we're at 12,000. Yeah, we've got ample capacity on site, and obviously being able to just follow me back to the farm means we'll be able to engine on, engine on. Oh, yeah. The big thing I need to make sure is I fill this thing up with diesel when we go back to the farm. So 18,000 litres in less than 2 rows. Good fun. That's the thing that just picks things up off the ground. Don't really have one of those. One of those would be really useful for potatoes. I'll tell you that much. Do I not have the Homer Terra variant on? GH EFGH. There we go. So we have that. Oh, I didn't load the I think it's the T430, which is a fair amount cheaper. And comes with an HR9, I think an HR6 header. The HR6 has a better operating speed. T30, as I said, is a little bit cheaper, so may sometimes be a better choice. For a small farm operation. If we had a bit, well, even then, yeah. Do I want to spend $500,000 on a beet harvester? Because I don't have the capacity to store it all. I want to be on the line, don't I? G has completed their task, okay. Come on, there. Now, is there? Yes. Okay, that won't take long. We need to get back in the JCB because I think we just got the 80% full warning. Come on. Let's go. Of course, the other thing is this sort of crop is much easier multiplayer. As with anything. I mean, I've done some big farms multiplayer, and obviously having 2 or 3 carters